Hello and welcome back to Oversight with me, John Attenborough. And today I am really pleased to be joined by Sam Gough, who is a blind athlete, full-time blind athlete, and content creator. Sam, welcome to Oversight.
Hello, John. It's good to be here on your podcast. And yeah, I've known you for a while, so it's actually just going to be a great conversation today.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you coming in today. I wanted to first ask you about, because I think I've never actually asked you before about your own sight loss journey. And so have you always been sort of visually impaired from birth, or is this something that kind of developed over time?
Yeah, so I was born with a condition called CVI, cerebral visual impairment, which means that my eyes are really, really healthy, but the connecting pathways from my eyes to my brain are damaged. And I have to obviously describe and talk about it and give a bit more detail on it because it's not really a condition that people know of.
Yeah.
So what happened was it was trauma through my mum's pregnancy that left me with brain damage to the connecting pathways. So she had a amyocentesis and the hole didn't heal and it just then left me with brain damage. So yeah, it's a complicated condition to have, but if you understand it, you understand it. So yeah, I was partially sighted growing up.
Okay.
So I've always had, obviously, my visual impairment because it was through my mum's pregnancy. And then I lost more and more vision when I was growing up. So now I'm only left with light perception, so light and dark, shapes and shadows. And I also have to wear glasses for a condition called astigmatism, which is to keep my eyes a certain shape. So it's really confusing because if you look at me and you think, oh, you've got glasses, surely that will then help your sight. And it's not. It's really not. It's just
sort of wobbliness, astigmatism.
It's really just to support the eyes,
totally.
which is obviously quite complicated, and trying to understand that is really difficult. But yeah, that's a little bit about my sight.
And how did that affect you, kind of growing up and that? Because obviously you're massively into sport and stuff. Were you always into sport, like even sort of during school and growing up and stuff?
Yeah, no, definitely. I always had a passion for it. My dad was very much involved in sport. My brothers were all involved in sport. And I knew that
6 older brothers or something you've got, is it? Yeah, so
well,
wow.
I've got 4 blood-related brothers and 2 adopted brothers.
Wow.
So it's a big family.
Massive family.
And we also had 2 foster brothers that had grown up as well. So there was 8 brothers in the household growing up, which was crazy.
The only female as well.
I was.
And the youngest.
But yeah, no, I mean, everybody that I knew in my family did sport. So I knew that I wanted to be involved. So in primary school, I was looked upon as an athlete. I was competing for the school, running cross country for the school. And then when I started to lose more and more of my vision, the staff in the school didn't know how to support me. It caused a lot more bullying within school. So losing my sight was really difficult because I wasn't just dealing with my own. Oh, that's the dogs. That's our guide dogs.
Each other, yeah.
It wasn't just about how I'm kind of dealing with my sight loss, but it was also dealing with the people in my class that didn't understand it.
Yeah.
And then they'd be like, oh, one day she's got her cane and next she doesn't. What's going on here?
Yeah.
It's the dogs. So I think it actually it caused more problems than it should have, which was really difficult.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, imagine being the only one. I'm assuming that you're the only one in your household that had a visual impairment as well. So
yeah, that definitely was a lot trickier as well because we had to have conversations with my family members growing up to be like, Sam's losing her vision, and then trying to get them on board with understanding that was really difficult. And I would say more recently we've been able to get to a place where my brothers have been able to actually really support me rather than ask questions, and they just understand it now. And everybody just knows now how I need to be supported, which is great. But it did take a long time for my family to kind of get on board with that and understand, this is the way that I am right now, and this is how I'm going to need to be supported. And now that I have, the support system around me that just really fully understand it and can support me to the best that they can, it's made a massive difference. So yeah.
And you play for the blind women's football team, the England team, which I when you told me that when we first met, I was like, wow, that is incredible because you train down at St George's Park.
Yeah.
I mean, that must be quite inspiring. The same place where the Lionesses play and the
Yeah.
England men's team train and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
how
definitely.
did you get involved in the blind football?
Yeah, so obviously I was a little bit involved in sport in primary school and high school, and then when I was trying to take like a sports course for your Nat 5, I knew I wanted to go down the sports route. I was then labelled a hazard because I couldn't participate in the practical parts of the sports.
Wow, really?
And I was removed from PE in education.
Really?
Yeah, I
Wow.
was. And I was labelled a hazard. And was removed completely from PE in high school, which was devastating because I wasn't just losing my sight, I was then losing the access to sport, which was my thing that could get me through the day.
Yeah.
So I had a massive mental health drop.
How did that make you feel? I was going to say.
Oh, it was absolutely awful. And then I actually struggled with mental health a lot afterwards. And I mean, I'm still trying to get over the trauma that brought me because it wasn't just there's a build up to it as well. Like there was a good couple of months of teachers not understanding it, questioning it, and bullying from the classmates and the teachers, which was just horrendous. So it was probably the right thing to do to take me out because it was, not a safe environment for me to be in. But actually, at the same time, I then lost my access to sport. So that was my kind of I need to find sport out with. So I went along to Scottish Disability Sports, Have a Go sessions. Their para sport festivals, they were really good, but I always felt like you'd do the sport on the Have a Go day or your para sport festival, and then there'd be no other way to access the sport in Scotland until it came around that time of year again, where you'd have that sports day. Because obviously, if you want to play blind football, if you want to play goalball, you have to go down to England. So at the time, it was very much like a dangle of a carrot. This is the sport you could be involved in, but you couldn't be involved in it, So the discrimination part of, being Scottish was very much very much apparent.
And it's still much like that today as well.
Yeah, 100%. So my mum was very proactive and wanted me to get involved and took me along to different sessions with Victa and British Blind Sport, anything that was available I could get involved in, but it meant my mum and dad had to then travel down the country to get me to these events. Invicta had their family weekends as well, so we were trying to get me involved in the blind community to be supported. And RNC, the Royal National College for the Blind, had a Have a Go day alongside Victa, and it was a sports weekend, and that was my element. I actually had a Facebook post that was I am where I belong. I feel like I belong.
That's amazing.
I have people that understand.
And you got to try different sports and that there, wasn't it?
Yeah, so we tried loads of different sports. And then they had another Have a Go day, and I came down to it. And at the time, there was talks of creating a blind football team. I was obviously involved in goalball before that, but obviously a bit about blind football. There was talks of making a team, but COVID had hit. So everything was on a standstill. And then they opened up the sessions again at RNC, and I went along, and I remember we were in the room and I'm sitting front row and there's a bunch of girls behind me, but I'm sitting front row, and they're like, does anybody have any questions about what we're going to do today in the football session that we've got today? And the first thing we asked was, I'm from Scotland. Can I actually play? Is that going to be a problem?
Are you eligible to play for England?
Can I actually, there's no point going any further if I can't actually participate in this, because that's again dangling the carrot of I can't then play.
100%,
So we asked the question, and the first thing they said was, it's absolutely fine. Scotland don't have a team, you can play. We did loads of training sessions at RNC, and then it moved to St George's Park, which is the national home ground for England's training for football. And then it grew from there. I had internationals, we had games, friendlies, and then we were announced that we were going to be the first women's blind football team. That's kind of how I got into it.
And last year, you in the 2025, you competed in the 2025 World Cup in India, and you made it to the final as well, didn't you? Played Argentina in the final, I believe, was it?
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
that must have been some experience travelling out to England and playing in a World Cup.
Yeah. It was absolutely incredible. And I actually think the build up to getting to the final, obviously playing in the final, an amazing achievement, absolutely incredible. But if we go back to the semi-finals match, where we were against Japan and we went to penalty shootout and we were getting ready to to see who, to the last second, who's going to go through at the final. That there was like, oh my goodness. Like, if you've seen the videos, if you even hear it, if you hear the videos, all you can hear.
I looked it up online. I was like, oh my God, I can't watch this sort of thing. Yeah, it was like,
all you could hear is me bawling my eyes and absolutely like wailing, because I was just like, oh my goodness, like, how have we done it? And it was such a build up. And when I scored the goal that got us through to the final, it was like a moment of, oh my goodness.
That must be one of the highlights of your sort of sporting career so far. Yeah,
100%. Like, I still get really emotional thinking about it, because like I was able to step up and provide for my teammates, and we worked together to get to the final. And it honestly, just how we got there, I don't know. And if we look at the World Games back in 2023 or 22, I can't remember when the World Games in Birmingham was, but we came 8th or 7th or 8th in the world. And now we went on to be second in the world.
Yeah.
Like,
it shows the natural progression of the team, doesn't it? Yeah.
And we've got the European Championships coming up this year, and we're like, after that high of being where we were in India, we have every intention to go to the Euros and bring back gold.
There's no reason why not.
Yeah.
You know, you made it to the semi-final of the World Cup against Argentina of all teams, you know, so it's... there's probably a lot of people either listening or watching who maybe don't know how blind football's played.
Yeah.
So can you maybe explain a bit about what the rules are and how it differs to regular football?
Yeah, definitely. So blind football is, when I do my talks in schools and stuff, I always say, like, we have like one thing in common is we have the love for football. Nothing much changes other than it's still football. So blind football is played by having 4 outfield players that have a visual impairment. In the men's game, it's slightly different. In the women's game, we can have up to B1, B2, and B3 classifications within blind football. And then in the men's side of the game, it's all B1. I'm not quite sure if I think it's just about
different classifications of level of sight.
A level of sight, that's just to clarify that. So we have 4 outfield players that have visual impairment, and then our goalkeepers are sighted, which everybody normally gasps when we say what? The sighted goalkeepers. But actually, if you can imagine scoring a goal past a sighted goalkeeper, it's actually quite empowering. And it's like, we can do this, you know?
100%.
It just shows that, you know, having sight doesn't mean we can't. So that's how that's played. And then we've got the ball that has metal plates in it with little balls in it as well, so it rattles. That's pretty much that. We've got the whiteboards that go down the pitch as well to keep us in, like, oh, that's the microphone. Sorry, I've just hit it.
Sorry. That's all right.
There it is. I found it. Whiteboards that run parallel down the pitch, and that keeps us in a bit of a confined area. And we use the boards to navigate echolocation, battling. Like, some people think like blind football, it's just maybe like the mainstream game. The ball's you know, not much tackling, but blind football is like physically demanding. Like, it is incredible. But
I mean, you
have
to train for each game, you know, just like any mainstream regular footballer would. It's very sort of physically intense.
Yeah, it's so demanding. It's so demanding.
And how do you know when say you've got the ball, how do you know if it's clear to take a shot at goal, or how do you know which direction the goal is when you're playing? Yeah,
so we have a guide behind our goal. We don't want to listen to the opposite team's goal guide, if that makes sense. So we know our guide's voice, and he will guide us towards him. And we have our head coach at the halfway line. And then obviously we have our goalkeeper behind us if we're going forward. So we have lots of people communicating to us. It's really a lot about like communication and teamwork within the team as well. Like, we've got to communicate with our teammates so that we know where we're going. So communication is number one, so important. Going in for a tackle, you've got to say voy, which is the all-rounded word that we have to use, and we can get in trouble if we don't. Obviously,
so is that like in the rules of the game? If you go in for a tackle, you have to say voice so that the opposition player knows that somebody's coming in for a tackle.
100%. Like, so
there's no two-footed slide tackles.
No. You can get in trouble if you don't say voy. And actually, like, for your own safety, you want to say voy because you don't know where they are. Like, you want to communicate, like, so that you don't hurt the opposition. Do you know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah.
You want to battle with them, but you want to be fair at the same time. And you never want to really, really physically hurt somebody, but at the same time in the game, you've got to be physically demanding. You've got to go in for a tackle. So I think if I was to describe the game, I think it's football combined with rugby.
Yeah,
That's how. Do you know what I mean?
That's a really accurate description.
That's
of
how
it,
I would
actually,
describe it, because it's so physically like physical.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's how I would describe it.
And I take it obviously there's still fouls in the game, and I take it the free kick and penalty rules still apply in blind football.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. And so the game of like football is 20-minute each halves, but it's stop clock as well. So one half of a game could be up to 30 minutes or even more, depending on how slow the game goes or whatnot.
Yeah.
They did have it at 15 minutes each half, but they wanted the game to be more of a flow, like let the game run a bit more. So that's a little bit about like the timings of the game as well. But it's a lot of work, and you got to be physically fit.
Yeah.
Because what we find is if you don't have your good standard like aerobic fitness, your concentration goes, and you need to concentrate, especially in blind football, because you're having to use your other senses. You're having to really like process every bit of information that you're hearing and feeling. And you've got yourself on the pitch, but you've got your 3 other teammates, your goalkeeper, your goal guide, your head coach, and then another 4 players, and there's 2 other referees, and then trying to block out the noise that could be in the background.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah, and I remember playing in the European Championships against Germany, and the German head coach was like screaming, and I could not block him out. I was like, what am I doing? I can't hear anything. Like, all I can hear is the head coach for the other
Probably
team.
part of the strategy of to put the team off. Yeah.
Like sometimes I felt like he was like talking into a tannoy because it was so loud. But that is then when I've got to be able to switch off and focus on what I need to focus on. Tune in to the right people rather than other people.
So like when you're down on training camp at St George's Park, what does a typical day at training camp look like?
Yes, so we'll travel down on the Friday. I'll do a bit of training before we travel anyway, so I've done at least a one session in the morning, and then we'll get to camp, we'll meet up, we'll have like our medical check-ins, we'll see the girls, see the squad, and then we have a session on the Friday. We might have like team meetings as well. We'll have dinner, of course. Dinner is so important. And Friday's quite a busy day, but we have one session on the Friday, and then we go into the Saturday where we have 2 sessions, and they're about 2 hours long each.
Wow, so it's like a 4-hour training session in one day.
In one day, it is a lot. The time you warm up, the time you get started. And we might have other sessions in there, like a little bit of S&C sometimes, or we might have like a bit of like, my head coach is called Tony, and we have Tony's core sessions. So he runs us through like a core exercise work, and it's beast mode. Like it's hard.
It sounds quite brutal.
And you know if you've not been practicing it away from camp either, because you need to be able to do it on camp.
Yeah.
So
the coaches know who's not been putting the work in, sort of thing. Yeah.
Pretty much. And so the Saturday's a busy day, because you've got your first session, your lunch. We've either got like meetings in between, and then we have our second session, and then we're traveling home. So the time I get home, I'm from Scotland, so
it's a long way to travel, isn't it?
At least 11 o'clock at night, I'm back home. Luckily Sunday's my rest day, so I need it after that. But that's kind of how the layout of camp goes.
Oh, it sounds intense. I mean, honestly, before I met you, I used to think I was a busy person until I met you. But you're here, there, and everywhere. And
until you see it on the socials.
Yeah, exactly. I open Instagram almost on a daily basis and go, oh my God, Sam's somewhere else today. It's like, I mean, you've just come back from Croatia as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I have, literally yesterday.
Yeah, I was like, oh my goodness. I used to think I was busy.
Yeah.
Until I met you, I was like, I am not a busy person at all.
Yeah. Like I remember on training camp, because we were on training camp together for guide dogs, with your current guide dog and my first guide dog. And I remember we were sitting around the table, and you were telling me about the book that you'd wrote.
Yeah.
And you're right. Sorry. You're telling us about the book that you had wrote, and I don't think it came out until at least like day 5 of training camp that I played for England, and you were like, "Wait, what?
Yeah, no, I was
Wait,
like,
you actually
you've been here
play
a week,
football?" And I was
yeah.
listening to like you talk about everything that you did in football, and I didn't mention it. I like kind of forgot to mention it.
I know. I was like, I think you said it at dinner one night, didn't you? And you were like, I was like, what? We've been here a week and you've never mentioned it. Yeah, no,
and we spent every day together, didn't we?
Yeah,
like,
I know.
Literally.
I mean, I was going to ask you about that. Obviously, you got paired with your first guide dog, Helga.
Yeah.
Last year, we were on the same training camp together. And for anybody that doesn't know, when you're matched with a guide dog, whether it be your first one or your 5th or 6th one, you've got to go on a residential training course to sort of kind of give you that time to bond together and that. But how did you find the application process and the matching process, and what was the deciding factor in making you want to apply for a guide dog in the first place?
Yeah, so when I started losing more of my sight, it was something that I always knew I kind of wanted a guide dog.
Yeah.
We had actually withheld from getting a dog in the family because we knew that I could get a guide dog, and we just didn't get any more dogs. I'm a big cat person. I've got 9 cats. So that's why we got 9 cats.
Me that. I was just like, that is insane.
So yeah, I kind of
9 cats and bringing a dog into that environment as well.
And that was something I had to write on the when I was putting my name down for a guide dog. I was like, yeah, just to let you know, we've got 9 cats. But yeah, it was something I knew I was always thinking about. And my friends within sport had guide dogs, so I knew the impact that it had on their life. My best friend Chloe has a guide dog, Emily, and yeah, there was loads of other people on training camps that had guide dogs, so I knew that there was going to be a benefit to having one.
So you kind of seen on the training camps, the blind football, people who had guide dogs, and you saw the benefit they were getting from it. Yeah,
and as well as goalball as well, like they have like pretty much everybody I knew that had a guide dog. But the application process for me actually stopped for a couple of years because I had a condition called syncope, so I would be taking fainting episodes. So I stopped the application for a little while, and yeah, my syncope got better, which was good. And yeah, about 2.5 years ago, I put my name down properly on the list. We got back in touch with them. I was like, yeah, I'm ready for this now. Like, I always feel like there's everything happens for a reason, I believe. And the right time will come when I'm due like to get a guide dog.
Yeah.
And when I got the phone call that day, I was like, oh my goodness. We had obviously our 6-month check-ins to make sure that nothing had changed. Like you had regular contact with guide dogs. I did actually have to do a little bit of work with my cane skills. A little bit
you have to
of
go
work.
through a mobility assessment first, don't you? Where they kind of assess how good your mobility is with your long cane, which is the part that I hate because I don't know about you, but I hate my long cane. Yeah, I hate it. I know, but it's something that you have to go through, and you have to be quite competent with it in order to be eligible to apply for a guide dog. And that.
Yeah, and you've got to know a couple of routes as well, like on your own with your cane. And I'm like, I remember sitting down thinking, right, so you need to plan out at least 3 routes for us to see for when we follow you and you walk with your cane. And I'm thinking, I only know 2, but I need 3. And I'm like, wait, I need to learn a new route. So I remember like for weeks and weeks and weeks practicing this route with my granddad. And it was just to a local restaurant. And I'd never got to that restaurant before without, thinking about actually I need to start learning these routes. But, that all of that work that I put in was all like gearing towards getting a guide dog. And actually now that I've got my first guide dog, I realise how important those training sessions were of getting to different places.
Absolutely.
Building the foundations before you can get a guide dog. Because a lot of people think it's just easy, but it's a lot of work.
At all. It is a lot. I mean, what was that moment like when you got the phone call saying that they had a potential match for you and they brought Helga along to the house to meet you for the first time? What was that like?
Yeah, well, it was a really, really quick turnaround of finding out that there was a potential match to meeting Helga, and then I think it was like a week later or 2 weeks later I was on training camp. Like it was the quickest turnaround I've ever.
Same for me, actually.
I remember you saying that, and it was like the quickest turnaround.
I wasn't even on a matching visit. It wasn't supposed to be a matching visit. Yeah.
Oh my goodness! What was it? Just like a harness walk?
Yeah, so there was actually part of my, how you do the guide dog assessment where they assess you to see what kind of dog would be suitable for you. It was both Emily and Paco, who are two trainers at Guide Dogs, that came along.
Yeah.
And we did my guide dog assessment with Harry, just to my local co-op and back, and they filled out the paperwork, went away. And then they came back maybe about half an hour later, knocked on the door.
No way.
And they came back and Paco was like, you know what, I actually think you'd be a great match. Can you start on... This was on the Wednesday, and he says, how would you like to join the training class on Monday? But I was like, whoa, give me a second.
Let me catch my breath.
Like, exactly.
Oh my
So
goodness.
it was also a quick turnaround for yourself as well, was it?
Yeah, it really was. Like, I was literally sitting getting my nails done in a nail salon, and I thought, right, phone calls coming through. I'm like, I can't really answer the phone right now. But then voiceover read out, Guide Dogs number calling or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I know it's June. Like, I am due my 6-month checkup. And I was like, right, I'm just going to have to take this. Like, I need to take it. So I'm sitting in the nail salon. My mum and my brother's partner's two rows down. And I'm like, hi, and Kim's like, hey, just to let you know that we've got a potential match with Hilda. At first, I thought her name was Hilda. Like, hearing impairment on the phone call, heard Hilda.
Called Hilda for a week.
I literally, like, I did videos, like, I've not posted any of them yet, but I'm like, right, so I've just met Hilda for the first time. And I was like, that's not her name. And Kim thought that was so funny until I got to training camp, and they were like, it's Helga. And I was like, well then, jump scare, but brilliant. But yeah, I got the phone call and she said, we've got a potential match. And I remember sitting crying, and my mum was like, what's happened? Like, are you okay? And I was like, you'll never guess what. And she couldn't believe it when I told her. But I was like, yeah, so that was, I think, on the Wednesday. And by the Friday, she was coming for, I think it was the Tuesday. I had my nails done. The Wednesday, she came for a visit. And then by the Friday, she had a sleepover or something. Like, it was like, ... you know what I mean?
And then Monday you started.
And then we started
Ferry,
pretty much the week after. It was like, you're starting with Helga. Like, it was such a quick turnaround. But yeah, it was brilliant. And honestly, like, it was just, what an emotion that I had with that.
And I think, every guide dog owner I've spoke to over the years has described exactly that, whether that be their first dog, or like, I'm on my third dog now, or whether that be somebody who's, been with guide dogs for years and on their fifth or sixth dog, everybody describes that matching process exactly the same. And then obviously we started the sort of 2-week residential training at the Woodlands Hotel, I think it was called, wasn't it? Yeah,
the pasta was brilliant. Oh my goodness.
I never tried the pasta at all when I was there. No, I never tried it, to be honest.
Are we not due like a, what is it? It's not a catch up, but it's
it's like a reunion.
A reunion.
Sort of thing. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
That was supposed to be at 6 months, but it's almost a year
yeah,
now.
It's almost
so
a year.
It's like,
yeah, we need to go back. I think we can choose where we want to do it. I'm like, back to the Woodlands Hotel. We need the chorizo pasta.
For one night.
Yeah. Go back for one night. Yeah, I think it was a day like visit, but I'm like, we'll all just stay the night. We'll just have so much fun. We did actually promise the people that we would come back that worked in the hotel.
Yeah, the people that worked there, to be fair, were amazing. They were really good.
Yeah, but
how did you find that 2-week training process?
It was probably one of the hardest weeks of my life.
It's intense, isn't it?
It's so intense, but
intense.
worth every second of it. I think, like, with myself having autism, like, the processing of you're getting a guide dog, like, the week before that, I'd just been racing at Henley Women's Regatta, which was for rowing, because I'm also a rower. So I was just trying to, like, process everything that had happened and what was coming. And then I went on to training camp. I was invited to the Royal Garden Party, so I missed the first day of training camp. And I felt like, oh no, I've missed, like, the group bonding and that type of thing. And then I remember obviously seeing Helga the week before, but I kind of thought to myself, oh, I don't know if she likes me. Like, because she just needed time to, like, test out, like, get build this relationship. And I remember trying to play with a toy with her, and she's like, what are you doing? And then, like, 4 days in, she is running around like, I love this person, It's because it is a 50-50 with guide dogs. Like, you've got to get the right match. And they really matched us perfectly well. And obviously, like, the amount of information that you get, it is a lot of information. And every day it's a different topic.
And you're walking for miles a day, like it's not... A lot of people think, you go to a hotel and you train for 2 weeks, but it's intense. Like, it is intense. Like, my feet were killing me by the end of the 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We were neighbours, weren't we?
Yeah, that's right.
We were neighbours in the hotel rooms.
We had some good laughs. That's for sure.
It was brilliant. And, you know, I actually, like, not even just about getting a guide dog, but the group element that we had, like, with Barbara, me, you, and, like, we just... And Kitty, like, we made such a friendship group as well. Like, we got it through it together.
Good, actually. It was a really good group.
And then, like, at the end of the day, we'd all, like, sit down and just, like, process the day and just get to know each other, which was... We made friends for life, you know?
Yeah, 100%. And talk about things like... So there was, I think there was 5 of us in total who were training with our new dogs. And I think that sort of downtime in the evening just to kind of sit and chat and get to know each other, you know, and you can let things... If things are annoying you on class that you're frustrated with during training, you can just kind of let it out your system, and then you're fresh to go again the next day, sort of thing.
Like, we were all knackered, but I don't think any of us were like, oh, we'll just go lie in our rooms for the next,
we all kind of wanted to spend
we wanted to be together.
And you know what's interesting about that is that doesn't always happen on group. I've been on sort of 2 previous training classes where it was kind of like after we all kind of finished dinner, people would just kind of disperse to their own rooms, and you wouldn't see them again till sort of breakfast time. So that's why I really liked about this training camp is that, like, we, you know, even after dinner, we, you know, went and made sure our dogs were okay, and then we all came and met back in the lounge again afterwards.
Like, when I say we spent, like, probably every minute together on camp except, like, nighttime. Like, that's what we did. Like, we went
up until probably about
all
10
day.
at night, up until the bar closed.
Yeah, literally. I think they were sick of me ordering, like, a Coca-Cola, because I was like, I'll take another. Like, are you finished yet? No, we're still chatting. Like, literally. And then we were up early as well for training. Like, they were there with them, you know, getting ready for the next lot of information.
The trainers tell you, like, we're going to be ready for you to start training at 9 o'clock, so you've got to have got up, got ready, let your dogs out to the toilet, feed your dogs, feed yourself at breakfast, mate. So as long as all that's done before, and then start at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, because they were also like, you know, you go weigh your dog's food, and I was like, every morning I was like, well, I'm just gonna like work smarter here. Like, if I weigh out the rest of the week's food, like, I don't have to get up then that extra 10 minutes in the morning to be like, and the weighing scales were like not dodgy, but you know what I mean? Like, they were annoying, you know? And I was like, you know, 330 grams. And I'm like, oh my God, that's not the right thing. So,
I know.
Oh, and then it would do it again, and it would say 150. And I was like, you know, I had to double check it all the time. But that's all the funny bits of class. Like, it was absolutely brilliant. But I loved when we went to the park and me and you and Harry and Helga had the free run.
Yeah, on the Sunday of class, it's sort of free run day to let the dogs have a good run about.
100%. And I think you blew the whistle and Helga came to you. Yeah. And I was like, oh
no. we both got different dogs, I think. And honestly, if you see Harry and Helga, they're like... the complete opposite sizes. Harry's nearly 40 kilos and Helga's like a tiny little dog. It's like, it's good. It's good. It's a good laugh as well.
And then Guide Dogs had their fundraiser a couple of months after, I think. And then we were all like, well, you were there and I was there. And it was like, oh my goodness, like, good to see you again. Like, I haven't seen you after like spending 2 intense weeks together and with the girls in the group. And it's just like, you're gone. I think that was the hardest part as well, like after camp. Like, it didn't stop after 2 weeks. You had your...
No, you have to... You
another 3 weeks,
you do another
if not
3
more.
weeks training from home before you actually qualify, before they let you out on your own. So that you go home after the 2 weeks, and then the trainer comes to your house sort of every day or every second day, usually, for the next 3 weeks until you qualify. So it's about 5 weeks worth of training at least altogether before you actually qualify as well. And see, by the end of the... I don't know about you, but by the end of the 5 weeks, I was
cooked.
I needed a week off. I think.
I don't know where I was going, but I remember saying to Kim and being like, "Oh well, I'm away. I was away to Italy. I think like the week after I'd qualified, and being like, I need to like just take a second to just get my thoughts together and like realize that now this is where we're at, and we qualified and we were." You know, off into the big world together. And you didn't have any limits after you qualified. Like, before that, you get so many different routes that you have to be signed off on with the harness. And then they take the harness away until they come back the next game day or the next time they see you to then work again with the harness. But then once you qualify, you have the harness all the time. So that it's like, so I'm not
so
just...
you can put in new routes yourself and things like that. Yeah.
And it's not like, okay, I can only do this certain route. I can now walk around any shop that I'm going to, not with my cane anymore, now with Helga. Like, it was a massive jump from just those 3 routes or different routes we had been signed off on to just then going out into the world. And that was it.
I don't know if you remember this, but I remember you saying to the whole group of us on class, you said that there was one thing that you wanted to do when you got a guide dog, and you said the whole thing that you were building up to be able to do independently when you got a guide dog. Do you remember what that was?
Was it not about like traveling down the country?
Yeah.
Oh no, the milk. It's the milk. It's the milk. Yes. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So my biggest thing was I really wanted to be able to go independently and go and get a jug of milk or a pint of milk. It's not a jug of milk, a pint of milk from the shop. And it was a milestone that nobody really knows this actually. So you're getting to hear it firsthand about why this milk was so important to me. When I was growing up, my mum obviously was dealing with the fact I was losing my sight, and the mobility instructors and people that are involved in, visual impairments had said to her, "Where do you want Sam to be when she's 18? And she said, I want her to be able to go to the shops independently and get some milk if she's run out. And I never hit that milestone at 18. And that was something that I was really upset about, that it meant so much to me to be like, I just want my independence to be able to just go and get milk. Like, the most simplest thing of just going to go and get milk. Like, I've ran out, I want cereal, I can't have any, I've not got any milk. I have to phone somebody else to go and grab it. And that was the first thing that I did when I qualified, was go and get milk.
And like, how did that make you feel, that first walk independently with Helga to go to the shop just to get a pint of milk for the first time in yourself? Like,
even thinking about it now, it's making me like teary, because like it meant so much to me to be able to have that like independence. And it kind of, I talk a lot about it on social media about, it kind of felt like I was a bird trapped in a cage until I was able to get Helga to get the independence that I needed. And she showed me that I could do that independently. And for so many years, like, I could barely get to the end of my street with my cane. Like, what would take me to get to the shops on my own with a cane would take me at least about an hour and a half. It took me and Helga at least 25 minutes.
Wow.
Like, and she's a fast walker now, remember? Yeah, she's a fast walker. Pocket rocket over here. But just going and getting that milk that day, I remember taking a selfie outside Tesco's with
I remember seeing it on your Instagram.
And everyone was like, what are you doing? And I'm like, but you don't understand the backstory to how important that was to go and do it. And I did a video of, I was like, if I'm doing it, I'm documenting it, because this has to be documented. And go and getting that jug of milk, like, yeah.
And for me, that story, that just really simple task that most people just take for granted, going down to their local corner shop or supermarket to get a pint of milk.
Yeah.
That encompasses for me the whole ethos of having a guide dog. That confidence and the independence that having these amazing dogs give people, and you were able to do that almost right away after the whole training process. And that for the first time.
Yeah. 100%. And then I think about a week later, we were on our first road trip, or our biggest journey ever actually, was we went down to Wales to my friend's house. We spent a week in Wales before training camp. And I remember saying to Kim, being like, yeah, so we just qualified. Like, how do you think Helga will be? We've just qualified and we're now traveling to the bottom of the country. Like, how's she going to be? And she's like, go on. Crack on, you're qualified now, you can do it. And I was like, is she going to be able to handle that? And am I going to be able to handle that? So we did. We met my friend in Birmingham. I'm not quite there yet with changing trains, but I thought if I get myself to Birmingham, my friend can then meet me there with her guide dog. And then we went to Wales. And that again was that same feeling of getting the milk, was going on a train by myself and going down to Wales.
To the other side of the country as well. Yeah. You couldn't go any further away.
You couldn't go any further away. And yeah, that feeling of just pure independence, pure just joy of being able to do it. But it wasn't just me, it was Helga and the 50-50 bond that we've got. And people seem to think, like my mum always had the idea that you just tell the dog where to go like a sat nav. I'm like, No, but I've got to know where I've got to go.
Take me to Boots.
Take me to Greg's. And I'm like, I don't even know where that is.
Yeah.
So again, it's a teamwork to get there.
100%. And that's, I think, what a lot of people don't realise is that it really is a partnership. You know, you've got to understand your dog. Your dog's got to really understand you as well. And you've kind of got to grow that bond together. I mean, I always tell new guide dog owners as well, because I'm on like my third dog now.
Yeah.
It really does, and you've probably experienced this already, that it really takes about the first full year to get fully sort of in step and in tune with, and to really understand each other. That first year, I always think, is really sort of crucial, because it defines how the rest of the partnership's going to be for the next 7 to 8 years.
Yeah, 100%. And like I notice that like every day there's something new I'm learning about Helga, and like obviously we moved out as well, like quite quickly into a partnership as well. So within a couple of months I'd moved out of my family house, which Helga's like, I don't want to be the cats anymore, but she's okay with them now, but she loves the cats. But it was an adjusting period for people in the household of understanding she's not just a dog. Like the training that could be undone so quickly if you treat her like a dog, and not understand the rules that comes with a guide dog. And when we moved out, it was just like we can conquer the world together, and learn new routes again. So like we've had so many changes, and Helga's adapted with it so well. But I mean, she's kind of trained to. That's kind of how they're built, you know.
Yeah.
But what I notice is Helga wants to be traveling like all the time. Like, you know, some people are like, oh, you know, give her a little bit of a break. But I'm like, you don't understand. Like Helga wants to work. Like Helga, the minute the harness is even in my hand, she's like at attention. Like, I want to go. Where are we going, Mum? Sorry, we're not going to Wales this week, Helga. But you know, what I mean? she wants to go to London all the time. I don't know what it is. London, she loves it. Like really? She loves navigating
like
the busy
environments and stuff.
Thrives on it, you know. Absolutely. Oh my God, I see Helga at her best when she doesn't want to walk around our local Tesco's. She's like, I'm sick of buying milk, Mum. But yeah, honestly, she's brilliant. She really is.
No, I think that definitely sort of encompasses the whole reason for having a guide dog, and just gives you that confidence and independence. And I've noticed on your social media as well recently that you and Helga have been travelling to different Premier League football clubs as well. You've been training, is it teaching academy players and stuff? I think I've seen you at Aston Villa and Chelsea, is that right?
Yeah. And then I was at Crystal Palace last week as well. Like I work with a firm called B5 Consultancy. And they hire me to go out to clubs to teach blind football to their academy. And it's obviously teaching blind football, but actually what they gain from it is the disability awareness, but also how much communication in our side of the game for blind football and also in mainstream football is so important. And we work on that, and they understand that when we're teaching blind football and they're learning about blind football, communication is so important. Well, communication is just as important in your mainstream game. And that's the feedback that we get, that the kind of topic we talk about is communication. And being able to actually demand from your teammate and ask things for your teammate, like using your voice to advocate in the game is so important. And blind football really teaches that, as well as, you know, they're footballers. They want to know more about the other side of football. And we all have one thing in common. We love football, but it's just adapted. And a lot of the girls are like, oh, I've seen you on TikTok already. We're so excited. And I was like, oh no, like that's brilliant. But you get a bit of stage fright when you're like, oh no, people know me.
I think you were am I right in saying you went to one of the Lionesses matches at Wembley, didn't you? And you were interviewed during the half time or something, was it?
Yeah, so because we got silver medal at the World Cup in India, we were invited along to the Lionesses match against Spain at Wembley. And we were in the Royal Box, and we got to meet some really cool people. And then half time we had a pitch side interview. And I had Helga with me too, and I was a bit scared of how she was going to be at Wembley, and even just like listening to the crowd as well, like how was she going to be? She was perfect. But take her to a rugby match and she's like crazy. But take her to a football match and she's
it,
calm, like what's going on?
She loves Wembley. That's
So she was so calm at Wembley. And then I didn't actually know until about 4 minutes before walking out onto the football pitch. We were in the the walkout tunnel, I think it's called. Not the dugout. The tunnel that the players walk out. You know the part where they show it on like TV when the players are all lined up at like two rows.
Sort of
That's where we were. And one of our coaching staff said, "Oh, we've got 3 people that are going to be being interviewed." And the lady was like, "Who are they?" And they're like, "They should know who they are." And they're like, I was like, "I don't know." He didn't tell us. He told us 4 minutes before we were walking out to be like, "Yes, so Sam, Megan and Alicia, you're going to be talking in front of Wembley." And I'm like, what? Like, I just remember
so
sweating.
They basically gave you just a couple of minutes notice.
Wow. And we were out, and then we were standing in front of Wembley, and it was just incredible. The only thing is, like, it's when you're talking on the microphone, it then is like a delay of like 4 seconds or something before it goes round. What I wanted to do was like hold my ears and talk so that I couldn't hear myself like echo. But yeah, what an amazing experience that was. And then after the game, obviously I had Helga, so Helga was being shown on the screen as well. And people were like, "Is that the girl that was on the TV? Is that the dog?
Oh.
That's the dog." And I was like, oh my goodness. But just before half time, they were like, "Can we make sure Helga goes to the bathroom outside the of Wembley so that she doesn't do the bathroom on the pitch?" I was like,
that's always my biggest fear.
I never thought of that. Good shout.
Yeah.
Luckily she went. Like, she wouldn't have, like, you know, she was in harness, like she was absolutely fine. Yeah. But they were a bit like, "Can make sure
because that would be the viral clip."
That's what I said to my coach. I was like, imagine Helga the guide dog does the bathroom on Wembley.
PR disaster for guide
Oh
dogs.
my god. Oh my goodness. But yeah, it all went to plan. Thank goodness.
Yeah. No, it looked like such an amazing experience. Even just, experiencing a game in the Royal Box.
Yeah.
That in itself, it must have been an experience.
Yeah, I'm very, very grateful for like the journey that I've been on and the people I've met and the opportunities that arise. Because like, if you look back, and I always like think about if I could speak to my younger self, like Sam, who was bullied in primary school and high school for having a visual impairment and excluded from sport, and look where I am now. Like, the hard work and determination that I put in and didn't give up, because I could have give up and never participated in sport again. And now I'm leading out my teammates to world championships, Europeans, like,
I mean,
incredible.
When you were at school, you, like earlier on, you said that you were labelled as a hazard and had sport taken away from you, and now you've competed in a World Cup final in India. It's an absolutely incredible journey you've been on.
Yeah.
So what's next for you and Helga?
What's next? Well, we're ticking them off because obviously we moved out. Like, we're still traveling. I think I would love to go international with her. Like, that is something, like, I want to take her to Disneyland. Like, that is I want to go to Disneyland, but she needs to go to Disneyland too. But yeah, more traveling. I've got a lot of rowing competitions coming up within the next couple of months. We've obviously got the Euros in October, so the minute I hit June to October, it is hectic.
Just full training mode, is it?
Yeah, and then I am going down to Wales for a week, so we'll be going back to Helga's favourite place. We'll be going back down there. But yeah, just lots of travelling, and still trying to settle, like, in the new house as well, like finding our routine. Yeah. And yeah, we're just keep going forward.
Well, best of luck in the rowing competition and in the Euros in October.
Thank you.
I'll definitely be cheering on the team, and if anybody wants to follow your social media channels or that, where can they get in touch with you and find you?
Yeah, so Sam Gough on Instagram, and TikTok as well. That's my 2 main platforms.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming in today. I really appreciate it. Yeah,
no, anytime, honestly. Like, it's been really good to chat to you today. And yeah, thank you so much for being a part of my journey as well, because obviously we've been on class together, so it's just been, what a journey we've been on.
Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, Sam.
Bye.
Cheers.